Good evening.
I'm Natalie Nebula.
And I'm Hayden Helos.
And welcome to our very first broadcast aboard the Brev Mahadiga International Space Station.
Natalie, I can't believe it's been a full year since we've launched off into space.
Me either, Hayden. It's unbelievable how much progress we have made in our society.
And how advanced our government has become in the past few years is extraordinary.
But nothing will ever overcome the amount of work and time the Brev Mahadiga crew has dedicated to our International Space Station.
Funny you say that, Natalie, because today we are going to be talking about history of humans in space and the efforts the Brev Mahadiga crew takes to live in space.
Speaking of humans in space, I have actually been studying that in our space station's library.
Wow, Natalie, that's incredible. I've heard you talking about it recently. Would you like to tell us the data you've gathered?
I would love to, Hayden.
Well, then on to you, Natalie.
Thank you, Hayden. Did you know that humans have gazed up into the starlit sky for thousands of years and fantasized about traveling there? Little did they know that centuries later we would finally develop the technology that would allow this generations to make their dreams come true. From the past Apollo missions to the future lunar orbiting space station, humans have made an effort to explore space. And even now, we have not reached the limit in space exploration, for it is ever expanding and evolving. Where we are now in the Brev Mahadiga is amazing, but how do we function and how do we remain in cultural equilibrium? Let's find out with Riley Radiant, Hayden Helios.
Thank you, Natalie.
Government is something most people discuss in a negative light, but we have done a few things to help control and avoid that mass hysteria.
We have decided to eliminate political parties and change requirements for citizens to become one of our government leaders.
Yes, we have set a minimum of 20 years old and a maximum of 65 years old for someone to run for authority of legislation, head of Brev Mahadiga, culture moderator, chief of justice, and professor of science.
Riley, remind me again, why did we set these age limits?
Well, Hayden, a huge factor for the minimum is brain maturity, and for the maximum is so there is not a huge risk of onset Alzheimer's and dementia.
Oh, well then, Riley, what are the branches of government the leaders will be in control of?
To start off, we have the three basic from Earth that we took, which are the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch.
Aren't there still two to go, Riley?
Yes, we still have our own creations, which are the scientific branch and the cultural branch. The scientific branch will be in control of all important scientific decisions and will hold their own votes of the citizens. On the other hand, there is the cultural branch, which helps moderate equality of religion and culture expression and discrimination cases in court.
Riley, speaking of culture, I'm actually part of the cultural branch of government.
That's remarkable. What is your role in the cultural branch, Hayden?
Well, Riley, I'm a cultural representative for America. And before we launched off into space, I devised a few things that I would like to bring to space for our American citizens.
What did you and the other culture representatives from Earth decide to bring?
The first ideal that came to mind was creative freedom.
Why do you believe that this is important, Hayden?
Creative freedom is more important than most would believe. It helps people with artistic sides to not be censored by the government if their opinions are against their ideals.
I guess that does make sense. But what about something more recreational for citizens?
Well, we have decided to bring a Netflix-like streaming service for our citizens to watch their favorite TV shows and movies.
I love Netflix. I didn't know you were the one who helped develop a space version.
Thank you, but not only did we take things from Earth, we also created a Velcro room so that our astronauts can feel like they have some weight instead of floating.
Well, that's great, but I heard that Wilma Wanning was going to describe the food dehydration process.
Well then, on to you, Wilma.
Thanks, Hayden. As you know, our space station's meal plan is quite complex. We have to reduce the astronauts' calorie intake so that they will stay nutritional, even with their lack of exercise. For example, I have reduced Monday's meal plan from a total of 1,189.8 calories to 910.8 calories. Our meals were average, everyday meals that we all quite often eat on Earth, just reduced by around 20% of their calories. On Monday, we had waffles and coffee for breakfast, a peanut butter sandwich on a tortilla with orange juice for lunch, and fiesta chicken and potatoes for dinner. We were able to achieve the reduction of calories with the wonderful power of dehydration. I'm sure you're wondering what in the universe I'm talking about. So here is a before and after picture so that you can visualize the dehydration process. Now that you know what I'm talking about, I will be discussing the chemical and physical changes of dehydration. Dehydration is considered to be a chemical change for two important reasons. These are water vapor being released and the solids changing color. And now that we have discussed this, we can
have our dehydrating food for our astronauts before they go into space. Here we have where it's actually dehydrating at the moment, and here we have before the lid's put on what it actually looks like with an assortment of fruits. So we're gonna open our dehydrator and see what we've got.
Guys, you're gonna have to hurry because the other groups have to go through. It's not. That's the one. Okay, then you can figure out whose it is. Okay, guys, you need to figure out whose is in there. If you got breakfast, I'm getting it. And whoever this stuff is, please take it home or dump it. Alright.
So here we have some of our pineapple that's been dehydrated. Here we have one of our apples.
Autumn, Julian, and
Some grapes. And a dried cranberry. And then we have the top two. So here we have some bananas. Just don't look too tasty. Some apples. And yeah.
We're now wearing our dehydrated
It's due tomorrow. We got it on
Here we have our apples.
23.0.
And that's in grams.
it's not an excuse.
We do our bananas.
Did you know that he has a project in another class due tomorrow? Okay, so here, how long is this project going to be available?
We got him one day.
Okay, so,
And it's due tomorrow.
It's 34.0.
Now we have our grapes.
you guys, as soon as they finish this, do you guys need him right now? Alright.
Will? Yeah. A minute, Maury. Yeah. Yes or no? The only time you look at pineapple when you
White grapes or red?
And it is 129.1.
So you guys have to
Now we're doing our cranberries. It is 23.2. Now we will do our peaches. It is 21.1.
In the case of our dehydrated food, the grapes and cranberries are not very dehydrated. This is because we did not break the skin of the grapes and cranberries, so the fluid remained inside the tough skin. Now that we have talked about dehydration,
Now on to Ted Telescope talking about the workout plan.
Thanks, Wilma. So how do astronauts work out in space? I'm sure this is a question most of the viewers are asking at home because they simply can't just lift the dumbbell and stay in shape. And to minimize the psychological effects of zero gravity, we have equipped Brett Mahonica with some fitness equipment. There's a treadmill named Colbert, a stationary bike called Civis, and an ARED, a device that simulates weightlifting. Even with this routine, those who spend long durations in space return to Earth with muscular decay, cardiovascular deconditioning, and bone loss that can be difficult to reverse. In fact, in 180 days in space, muscular strength can decrease by anywhere from 11 to 17%, muscular endurance by about 10%, and bone mineral density by 2 to 7%. Unlike on Earth, you have to work out to live on Brett Mahonica due to zero gravity. Because of this, we have to put a gym on both sides of the ships so that during workout breaks, you can easily find your way to a workout with ease. Now on to Gabe for the workout schedule.
Thanks, Ted. New imaging technology makes it possible for crew members to take their own muscle measurements, allowing their space trainers to better monitor their fitness and better their workout plans. Since we have a large number of staff members on the Brett Mahonica, we need a lot of room for equipment. Many of our people have different lunch times and times they need to be working. We have our gym open all day and every day. Our staff still need to work out every day, at least once, unless they are sick. They will need to check it before and after they work out, and for how long and what they did. It is a priority to work out as it keeps them from having bone and muscle loss and critical health.
Thank you for tuning into the First Universal broadcast. I'm Natalie Nebula.
And I'm Hayden Helios.
See you all next time.